This is the very definition of totalitarianism.
And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
And to get hot, I got a lot of, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the summer.
What is this? What is this? Don't bother me with a question like that.
Let's get into it. The belly of the beast. Obama, Griff there with that great intro that we're going to get so much mileage out of in the coming years. The reaction to the debate has been pretty crazy. That is, several moments from the debate went viral, and several others sort of didn't, maybe that they needed to. What we'll kind of just look at, first of all, right out of the gate, is while that debate was kind of going on, some interesting things happened. Like Joe Biden decided, seemingly apropos of nothing, to wear a Trump hat at a public event that he was attending. Biden has been out, he's out to lunch, but he's been out of the office. No one's talking about him. It's like he died. And yet he's been quietly just doing the rounds, and he ended up meeting some Trump supporters, and they had some unkind things to say to him. I think at one point they called him an old fart, but he was quite jovial and ended up wearing a Trump hat, which of course MAGA World took pictures of and posted everywhere. But you can see the clip for yourself, and I don't know, maybe maybe you'll feel a certain way about it, maybe you won't.
Trump hat, I'll give you my presidential hat. Presidential seal on it.
You want to autograph it?
Oh, sure, I'll autograph.
Huh?
Yeah.
Remember your name?
I don't remember my name. I'm slow.
Stuart Park. Stuart Old Park.
Yeah, I know, man. I'm an old guy.
And you're an old Park, right?
I know you would know about that.
What?
About being old.
Oh, I know.
All right.
I'm a young timer.
It reminds me of the guys I grew up with. There was always one in the neighborhood.
Well, I'm the other one.
There you go, man. I need that hat.
You want my autograph?
Hell no.
No, you get my name. Come on.
I ain't going that far.
Yeah, you said you would do a selfie. There you go.
Now, I'll just say this. First of all, this is the most human and relatable Joe Biden has been probably in his entire political career. He seems to be, poking fun at himself and having fun with people who probably wouldn't have voted for him, probably wouldn't vote for him, probably don't think a great deal about his political career or his presidency. Yet in that room, he's being self-deprecating and also hasn't even sort of had that negative reaction he did, like back when he was candidate Biden with like look fat and challenging people to press-ups. He's just took the derision and the mockery on the chin. He's joked about not knowing his own name. He said he's an old fart and put on a Trump hat. Now, but as I said, I think all of this is great. I think it's kind of interesting seeing how Biden has took his foot kind of off the pedal, and I think he's accepted, it is Jova. I mean, look, he's ill. And he's not long for this world. Even with the best medical care, the type of disease he has, even in the great physical shape he's in for his age, he's coming to the end. And I wish people, because a lot of people looked at this, and what I hated about the MAGA World reaction was they took this and they went, look, he has dementia. I mean, he does, but he has dementia, so he put on a Trump hat and did not know. And it's like, no, he's actively doing it to ingratiate himself into the people in the room's eyes. And he has even done it and poked fun at himself, which is obviously like a big verboten thing that the political class don't do a lot of these days. This was like a throwback to a more kind of wholesome era of American politics. And so I actually think this is a bigger deal than people realize in terms of, you should be doing more of this. You should be going out into in communities that don't like you, don't like your politics, meeting with them, having a laugh, having a joke, winning hearts and minds, trying to change people around. And you can see it. Yeah, it's a good point on the freeze frame. He's smiling. He's having fun. The other guy's smiling. He's having fun. These are two people that have fundamental differences in their worldview, and yet they've come together, poked fun at each other, and they're smiling and laughing and having a good time. That is what America used to be like, guys. I know it's super hard to believe. The politics has always been fucked, but the people always used to be able to at least have some banter and have some fun. They didn't believe. I've always said it this way. Republicans and Democrats used to be neighbors with differences. They didn't believe that the guy wanted to fucking destroy them in an existential level. They didn't believe that. It was just the way you voted. It was just your beliefs. Maybe you're a bit more Christian than I am, whatever it might be. We're so far from that right now. And so I thought it was kind of gross that people like took this moment and trying to make it look like it's because fucking Biden's bananas, because that isn't what's going on in this room. And this is actually a nice clip. This is actually something I think politicians should do more of. Yes, self-deprecating humor. Yes, that's right. You're not gods. Incredible, right? So I thought this clip was, like, as I said, the most humane and relatable thing Biden has done in a long time. Tim Walz had a fantastic Freudian slip as well while he was on the campaign trail. Well, you can just listen to it for yourself.
Because this started, and I love this story, as a young prosecutor. Kamala Harris talked about going in that courtroom for the first time.
Yeah, a young prostitute. Not great. Obviously, with the fucking things that are being said about Kamala Harris and her rise to power, probably should have practiced that one in the mirror a little bit more, Tim Walz. You know, like you do with the combat zones you say you've been to. Anyway, so that was going on kind of in the background. This also happened as well. The ultimate grifter has reached his final destination. Donald Trump has launched a cryptocurrency. I thought, by the way, when I saw this for the first time, I thought this was one of those AI memes that people put when they hack YouTube channels or hack accounts. And I was like, well, who's daft enough to fall for that? He's been hacked. He hasn't been hacked. This is still being advertised and promoted. So let's just have... wait till you watch the commercial as well. You will totally get exactly why I thought this was bullshit.
Join me live on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. this September 16th for the launch of World Liberty Financial. We're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
So, where to begin with that? I'll say a few things. First of all, you know my opinions on crypto. And I don't know if we're any further forward from where my original opinion was in terms of its application, its usage, its capacity to scam silly people. But whatever. No need to go over that right now. One thing I will say is people in MAGA world are very susceptible to Trump scams. And people... I think somebody, I might do this. I might do a video, the many scams of Donald Trump. That would be a great thing for a video, I think. Because I don't think people realize the entire time, ever since he has been campaigning politically, he's never stopped. He has been raising money. He's been raising money for his court cases, presumably. But, I mean, he sold sneakers. He sold NFTs. He sold digital trading cards. It's crazy. Now he's selling his own cryptocurrency, Trump Coin, Truth Social. It's fucking wild. It's so crazy to me that this guy is sort of no. People in MAGA world don't find this distasteful. Like he's like, you know, raising all, you know, this money and everything else. It's just wild. But this is a real crypto on his real account being promoted. The state of the crypto address is today, apparently. But there was also an assassination attempt yesterday, so at his golf course. So I don't know at the time of recording this if the state of the crypto address is still going to go ahead. This is his This is his attempt to, win the kind of support of the tech bros. And a lot of tech bros are kind of in Trump's side of things at the moment, because he's essentially promising that he'll do all this crazy shit around crypto to sort of make it less regulated and therefore more profitable for these people. So we'll wait and see. But anyway, so he did a crypto. He's done a crypto. What else happened? Oh yeah, there was. Well, let's just start with the actual reactions to the debate. The fun stuff, we'll shelve that for just a moment. One of the things that was people were talking about was Kamala Harris's policy positions. Are we any the wiser? She's talked about her economic policies. She also borrowed a few policies from Trump, from his ticket, like the no tax on tips kind of thing. And so people were like, did she really substantively talk about policy at the debate? Well, she did, more than she ever has, which isn't to say it's great, it's clear, we all know exactly what she stands for. But what she did do a lot of was she walked back a lot of previously held opinions, which don't pass. If you watched her 2019 primary campaign, which again, if you've not watched the YouTube video about that, you can. I mean, it's astounding to me she is going to be the next president, given that she was a candidate that couldn't win a single primary vote. She was one of the first to drop out. It's unprecedented in American history. But anyway, you can go and watch that video and watch her campaign. And she said a lot of things that she walked back at the debate. She has said she is for mandatory gun buyback. She says she's not going to do that at this debate. Nobody pulled her on it. She has said she would ban fracking in 2019. Now she says she absolutely won't. And she absolutely could have as vice president. And she absolutely didn't. So you should absolutely trust if she's president, she absolutely won't in the future. And of course, the media aren't going to hold their feet to the fire on these particular topics. So it was refreshing to see this roundtable on CNN when someone made a sort of funny joke about Kamala Harris, who, the youth candidate aged 60, has sort of had this weird come to Jesus moment and has started suddenly holding policy positions she didn't hold in 2019.
Okay, but at 60 years old, which is about what she is, she had a transformational life experience, apparently, where in 1,000 days she has changed from a Bernie Sanders Democrat to a pro-choice Bush Democrat. She has abandoned almost every position, not just on fracking, on reparations for the sons of slaves. She was gung-ho for a multi-trillion-dollar policy, never mentions it. She's completely against it. Obviously, the transgender illegal aliens in prison, which she did sit there and say that she was for. She was against ICE. She was for open borders, defund the police.
But
okay, but at 60.
So, yeah, there wasn't a lot of this in the media for obvious reasons, but fair play. There was also a lot of, we'll get to that in a moment. There was also a lot of people saying, the fact checking has been only one way, and it has. It's been pretty bad. I mean, like in terms, like Trump got fact checked a bunch. He lies a bunch, but I mean, all politicians lie. Kamala Harris told lies. She didn't get fact checked on those lies on the debate stage. Outside, you can see here. He talked about what happened in Seattle. He said, and this was the Seattle Times. This is talking about Chaz, if you remember that. I had my own opinions about that. I think it's a fucking disgrace what happened. They just let people take over streets and do drugs openly, and because it was a protest in the name of social justice, it was allowed to happen, much to the detriment of the people who lived there. And in the end, people died. People died from overdoses, and the ambulances couldn't get in. There was violence there. We all remember the CHOP fucking warlord, all this nonsense. Like, what are police for? What are you paying your taxes for if you live there? It was absurd. It was allowed to go on, and of course, famously was dubbed the Summer of Love by the mayor. Anyway, Trump brought that up at the debate. And this is the Seattle Times. It said Trump falsely claimed during the presidential debate on Tuesday that protesters took over a big portion of Seattle during the Capitol Hill organized protest in 2020. They absolutely did. You can go see the video. We all know that that's true. Thank God for community notes. Community notes probably being the only good thing to sort of come out of the Musk era of Twitter. The Seattle Times themselves have reported on the very real incident in June of 2020 where violent protesters forcefully took control of a portion of Seattle's Capitol Hill area media that was dubbed Chaz or Chop, and they linked to their own articles. This is something that's happened a lot recently, by the way, which is the media are so desperately in the tank for Kamala and don't want to fail her in the same way they believe they failed Hillary Clinton. They are recanting their own reporting. This has happened now multiple times. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, the American media is full of shit and is doing its bidding of its respective political parties and its corporate interests at all times. It's not fit for fucking purpose. But what I haven't seen is publications publish saying this didn't happen when they already have published that it did, and then going ahead and saying we were wrong when we said it did. That's happened on like 3 occasions now over, Kamala Harris. Anyway, we can move on. What did Donald Trump think about the debate? Well, over on Truth Social, this is what he had to say. I thought that was my best debate ever, especially since it was 3-on-1. 3-on-1. Now, I mean, look, it was 3-on-1. The moderators were diabolically bad at ABC, in contrast to CNN. CNN, by the way, did the best moderating of the debates I think I've seen in the Trump era of politics. They let both candidates talk. They didn't fact check anybody live. They kept it limited to the mics. They muted when people weren't supposed to be talking. I thought CNN did an exemplary job and were very, very fair to both candidates. ABC, absolutely not. You know, if you're only going to fact check one candidate, then let the other candidate go over time and monologue endlessly. That's a bad look. That's a bad look for your independence, especially when, as one of the moderators did then do, go out there publicly and say, well, obviously, we did it this way because CNN didn't do it. Like, oh, okay, so you are just openly admitting to being a biased moderator. But this is what Trump wanted. Trump wanted to go on that network, and Trump wanted to go into that lion's den, and Trump had a terrible performance. Kamala got under his skin. The moderators got under his skin. He's lost that sharpness now to be able to substantively pin down the details, and he had a terrible performance. I don't know how anybody could watch that debate, and we're going to get to this in a moment, how anybody could watch that debate and think Trump won is absurd to me. It just doesn't make sense. But Trump thinks he won, because of course he does. He cited a poll. He said, people thought I'd won 92-8. And I was like, what? Where did that happen? Well, guess where the poll was. Oh, yeah. Live now, Fox.com Connect. Oh, okay. So, yeah, the Fox viewers thought you won, did they? Well, that's a fucking surprise. Overwhelmingly Republican voters. You won by 92 on a poll. Trump followed this up as well. He posted a bunch of shitty Twitter polls. He posted a poll by Elon Musk. He posted a vote by like Wall Street Bets or whatever. And obviously these people, these slightly right of center leaning accounts, they are going to say Trump won. They're going to say anything about Trump. They put it out there. So as far as he was concerned, those polls were an actual measure of how he did. And then when it came to the matter of talking about, well, will there be another debate? This is what Trump said. He said, when a prize fighter loses a fight, the first words out of his mouth are, I want a rematch. Polls clearly show that I won the debate against Comrade Kamala Harris, the Democrats' radical left candidate, on Tuesday night, and she immediately called for a second debate. She and Crooked Joe have destroyed our country with millions of criminals and mentally deranged people. Yeah, you might want to think about those, Donnie. Pouring into the USA, totally unchecked and unvetted, and with inflation bankrupting our middle class. Everyone knows this, and all of the other problems caused by Kamala and Joe. It was discussed in great detail during the first debate with Joe and the second debate with Comrade Harris. She was a no-show at the Fox debate and refused to do NBC and CBS. Kamala should focus on what she should have done during the last almost 4-year period. There will be no third debate. Now, ironically, there would have been a commitment to having 3 debates, which has kind of been tradition for a little while, but the Biden administration got rid of the kind of governing body over the debates because they knew Biden couldn't commit to 3, and so they came up with all of the rules. But let me tell you why this is a mistake. First of all, we are entering a phase now with 50 days left until the election. We're entering a phase now where, look, I think Kamala's got it in the bag, but we're entering a phase where whoever talks least has a better chance of winning. No doubt about that. But this was a mistake. Trump should have said, after what happened on ABC and how biased they were, I propose you to come to Fox and debate there with their audience and their moderators. And Kamala Harris would have turned it down. And then at least Donald could have walked away and gone, see, she won't debate me. But instead, what this looks like from a strategy point is you got fucking creamed. You got your fucking salad tossed. Everybody saw it. You looked like a fucking fool. You nothing but sound bites. They're eating the dogs. The TV told me they're eating the dogs. And you know you lost. And another one of those would be catastrophic, especially closer to election day. At least we've got 50 days to forget about how bad it was. And of course, by saying that, the media get to have a field day. This is MSNBC. I won't show you a lot of them because we've got lots to go through. You can see their headline, stung by his own chaotic debate performance, Trump is backing down from having a rematch. And of course he is. And remember that earlier, and ignore RuPaul, he's a fucking clown who deceptively edits footage and posts it and yet is still allowed a platform for some reason, despite being the literal definition of a liar and a propagandist. But, you know, Trump has said in the past he would do the debate. It was going to be on other networks. It didn't have to be Fox. He did propose Fox. Kamala said no. This is just a direct walk away from something that he had already agreed to do, which suggests to me, no matter what he's saying publicly, on some level, he is actually self-aware that the debate went particularly bad. One person who didn't think it went particularly bad was Ukraine are the enemy, Tim Pool. He thought Trump won all of the zingers. Now, the zingers, what were the zingers in this? I guess the best zinger in all of this was the I'm speaking. Yeah, you know that one, because we all know that Kamala Harris was going to try and work in a girl boss moment. They'd openly said this was a thing that were going to happen. It's why they wanted to have open mics, where if Donald Trump talked over her, she was going to say, excuse me, I'm speaking, and she was going to do that. But ultimately, there weren't really a lot of zingers here. This wasn't like him saying to Hillary Clinton, could you be in jail, and all these other things. It wasn't iconic in that way. It was memorable for all the ridiculous things he said. And the worst part is, some of the ridiculous things he said had some merit, but he couldn't articulate why they had merit, because he's just addicted to social media. His mind is mush. He's 78. He stares at Twitter and Truth Social all day and repeats things that people send to him, like over and over again. That's pretty much it now. That's like his strategy. There were some other parts that came out of it that were ridiculous. The lefties, they continue to think there wasn't really an assassination attempt. The assassination denialism is still pretty sizable. Keep in mind, his ear got clipped, as we know, and then look, how do you get shot with no scar? They're still doing this, by the way, guys. I'm going to have to do a separate episode, probably on the Substack, about the assassination denialism that's going on. It's pretty ridiculous. It's also tied into big tech somehow, where if you type, was Donald Trump, did someone attempt the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, you get every political figure ever in the world. Trump doesn't come up as an autocomplete option, despite being the most recent and most relevant to people that might be searching. So, Blue Anon, or ESLs, as we will call them, out in force. But speaking of ESLs, the right had their own type of ESLs. You see, because Kamala Harris won the debate, even though they don't want to admit she won the debate, she must have had help. Trump is playing five-dimensional Jenga, so how could he lose the debate? Well, they decided it must be because she was wearing earrings that were transmitters. This is, I don't even know who this person is. She's a truth slayer and a Spaces host. Tara Bull, nearly 1 million followers. Rumors are circulating that Kamala Harris was wearing audio earrings and being fed lines. Isn't this against the debate rules? I mean, I imagine it would be had it actually happened. She goes on to elaborate. Here's another look at the Nova audio earrings in comparison. There's a sideway look there that she put in. And this was a thing. This then became a rightoid conspiracy theory all of itself. Kamala Harris was being fed the answers. Now, we watched the debate. We watched it together. We listened to it. Her answers weren't that great. They just weren't insane. They were just clearer than Trump's. I don't think. I think if she was being fed information, she would have sounded a lot clearer, a lot more succinct. Anyway, of course, all the usual people started spreading this. This was Laura Loomer. Interesting choice of earrings tonight. We might have time for it tonight. It might have to be its own episode. But I've compiled enough to do a segment on Laura Loomer. And you will recall, if you listen to the Substack, the audio version, which is obviously subscribers only, you will recall I said one of the first things you had to do was get rid of Laura Loomer if you were serious about winning the election, because she is fucking crazy. She is crazy, and there's no reason to keep her around. And she said objectively racist things, and she's a conspiracy theorist. And did I mention she's crazy and won't shut the fuck up? Did I mention that? Did I mention she's not the person you want to have around? Well, now, of course, the rumours are circulating that maybe Trump's fucking slipping her one. So, Jeepers Creepers. But anyway, Laura Loomer, of course, spread this. And then probably in one of the saddest clips I've ever seen relating to American politics, Brett Weinstein completed his sort of descent into total fucking brain rot madness with
There's
this.
been a lot of...
Just to prep you for what you're about to hear, this is a clip where he says the pearl earrings that she was wearing were deliberately designed to look like the pearl earrings that are receptors to trick the right wing into thinking she was wearing the radio earrings when she wasn't. And he thinks that's the level it's operating on, when, of course, you know, the most, for a mind like his, the simplest answer would just be she wore earrings that look like them, and people jump to conclusions. I want to just say before I play the clip, Brett Weinstein, obviously, if you go back and look at prior episodes of The Richard Lewis Show, we followed the Evergreen story from start to finish. I was in his corner. I agree. I think what happened to him at Evergreen was an absolute disgrace. And I think by and large, him getting his own platform and his own podcast and being able to talk about things, I think at the start it was fantastic. He's come out with some batshit stuff lately, and I really worry for him, because the internet does break people. It makes you insane, and you've got to stay on top of it. And when you're in a bubble and an echo chamber and you're successful and you're surrounded by people who want to believe what you're saying, it's very hard to catch yourself. And it happened to Jordan Peterson. Remember, once upon a time, Jordan Peterson was just a regular guy that talked about, you know, the psychology of authoritarianism, and you could go and watch all of his classes on YouTube. And then he ended up the guy posting Chinese milking machine porn on Twitter and pretending it's a government mandated program because of communism or something. It breaks you. The internet breaks your brain if all you do is mire yourself in the lunacy every single day. And I think that's happened to Brett here, because nominally he was sensible. I didn't even disagree. A lot of people said he lost it during COVID. I think he said some pretty salient stuff during COVID. Not all of it. Obviously, there was some more extreme stuff on the fringes, but he was one of the bigger voices that was talking about lab leak, which is the ultimate. I mean, I've always been a leak cell, a lab leak cell, right? I've always been on that train right from fucking day one. Back when it was, you know, racist to say it, because that's what happened. But unfortunately, it does look like it's got brain rot, as evidenced by this clip. And it's, as I said, it's sad to listen to, but listen to it we must.
Discussion online this morning of the interesting earring that Kamala Harris appears to be wearing. And there appears to be a subtle replacement for earbuds in earring form. You can imagine if you didn't want to have earbuds in your ears, but you wanted to listen to something or maybe make a phone call, I don't know, that there's some earring you can buy that will do this, and Kamala appears to be wearing it. Now, I think this is another trap. I do not believe that this was done with something like an earbud, nor do I think it could have been done. And so my guess for that was it was the earring, or a facsimile of it, used to cause everybody to go, I know how they did it. She had somebody talking in her ear, right? And I won't be surprised if there's some reveal that there's some other earring that this actually was that doesn't do that, or I don't know what it's going to be. But
so
but
just
anyway,
a normal earring
again,
then, Brett.
Traps abound. That's the thing that I think people need to understand, is that we are now being targeted in order to make us jump at things that aren't real, and that it is important to resist that. It's important to think carefully.
So this is an extension, by the way, of an argument he made previously, which is when Biden caught COVID, i.e. was being pressured by Nancy Pelosi to drop out of the race. This was something he said. He said Biden's disappeared. He's dead. And there was if you remember, there was like a 48-hour conspiracy theory about how Biden was really dead, really dead, and they were hiding it and scrambling, so we could get like a hologram president for the rest of the race or something. And then Biden just came out and said, "I'm dropping out of the race," and he wasn't dead. And then Brett went on his, I believe, the Dark Horse podcast it's called, and said they did that on purpose. They made us say that Joe Biden was dead. And I was thinking, no, you just had to not be crazy with this shit. You just have to understand. Like, when the left sets traps, here's an example of a trap the left have already set. No one's fallen for it yet, but it could happen. Being coconut pilled. Being coconut pilled is what they say about Kamala, because there's that quote, isn't there, where she said, my mother once said, how do you think you got here? You fall out of a coconut tree. Right? And so now a lot of younger TikTok generation Kamala supporters say they're coconut pilled, right? That's what they say. I didn't like Kamala before, but now that she's the president, I'm fully coconut pilled. That's what they're saying. Now, we've just had a court case in the UK, so this is very much at the forefront of my thinking. So maybe I sound like Brett here. But coconut is a racist term. Coconut is a term that is used to disparage black people by saying they aren't really true to their black roots. They are white on the inside like a coconut. Okay? And we've just had a court case over here in UK where a Palestinian protester held up a sign that had a picture of Rishi Sunak. Was it Suella Braverman as well, I think? Braverman? Anyway, she'd drawn them as coconuts. And she went to court, because over here you've got to have a license for that opinion. And she drew them as coconuts, and she went to a court about it, and it was found that, yes, it was within the remit of freedom of speech, but, she could have been charged with a racist hate crime, essentially. So, coconut pilled is fine, right, within the context of the quote, but I guarantee if Donald Trump or J.D. Vance get up on stage and say, what is it that they're saying now, she's a coconut or something, that her fans are coconut pilled, it's the end of the world. They would have stepped on the rake. In that second, the media would go, right, you said coconut, we got to go back to the original meaning of coconut, it's racist now, no one's getting coconut pilled, we have to completely memory hold the fact that that's the type of traps they set in on the left. This is what Republicans don't negotiate digital spaces particularly intelligently. And when it comes to language, and I've done several videos on this, it was like with the NPC meme. Remember when they made the NPC meme, hate speech? Again, I've done a video on this. You'll find it on YouTube. Remember when it was fine and it was a joke, and then, oh, wait, right-wing politicians are saying it, so NPC is bad now. And at the same time, NPC was dehumanizing and a dog whistle for racism. Russian bot being thrown at anyone that didn't have a mainstream DNC opinion, that was totally fine. And remember as well, we've had people also on a previous episode, we've had people go on CNN and say, when Trump says DEI, when J.D. Vance say DEI, they're really saying the N-word. That's an actual quote that went out on a reputable news network. So they're the traps that get set. The linguistic traps. That's what gets set. And this is madness. There is nobody ahead of a debate saying to Kamala, wear this earring because it looks like a radio earring. The right-wingers will all lose their shit and look really silly. Nobody is doing that. That is too far into the source. But anyway, that's what Brett Weinstein thinks. Anyway, the cope was off the charts. We had this conspiracy that came out. Look at this. What the fuck? From Nick Sautor, a favorite. ABC debate moderator Lindsay Davis just happens to be a sorority sister of Kamala Harris at Alpha Kappa Alpha. Why are we just now finding out about this? Who allowed this to happen? Now, a couple of details about this, right? Like, oh, it sounds bad on the surface, doesn't it? Because when you think about being a sorority brother or sister, you think, oh shit, they went to the same university at the same time and they were in a sorority together. By the way, if that was true, that would be terrible. That would be conflict of interest 101. She would have no place moderating that debate. If that came out after the fact, that would be crazy, right? Well, it was over 10 years difference, first of all, because we know Kamala looks great for 60, but she is 60, and Lindsay Davis isn't. So they didn't go to university in the same decade, right? And also, not even at the same university. There's not even any indication they've met before through the context of Alpha Kappa Alpha, which the reason it is a sorority is that it is for black women, I believe. And this has been brought up multiple times in the press around Kamala Harris, that she does seek out, you know, the sorority houses in America and does visits there. So this is what they call, I believe the great Van Jones called, a nothing burger. This is a nothing burger. This is cope. This is right-wing cope. He lost the fucking debate. Yes, ABC's biased, but like no more than all the media is. And fortunately, like Yahoo here, this is just one example. They did a fact check, which just explained everything that I explained to you in much greater detail. They still weren't going with it. So this is from Sarah Carter here. You can see Girls' Night Out. Exclamation point. Kamala Harris and ABC's Dana Walden, who oversees Disney's full portfolio of entertainment media, including ABC News. Such a cozy family. No major conflict of interest to see here. Well, that photo doesn't give me any context at all. What if Kamala Harris was walking down the street and she said, "Oh my God, you're Kamala Harris. I love you. Can we take a picture together?" Having a photo taken with you certainly doesn't mean that, you know, you even support the person in the picture, right? It doesn't mean anything. It's not a great look, I'll admit that. It'd be better if these photos didn't exist, but we know the media and political parties are totally interwoven. It's not like it's not happening on the Republican side. I mean, you know, when Tucker Carlson was an anchor, Tucker Carlson took pictures with fucking politicians all the time, right? So, right-wing cope. Perhaps the biggest right-wing cope of all was this over in Newsweek. MAGA pastor claims Kamala Harris deployed witchcraft in Trump debate. So if you had that negative feeling about Kamala Harris, turns out it is because she's a practicing witch, guys. I am fully witch-pilled. Spoiler, if that was true, absolutely has my full support. But let's just see. Lightning bolt. I'm about that life. Right, so let's just see. MAGA pastor and evangelical leader Lance Wallnau has accused Kamala Harris of using witchcraft during Tuesday's presidential debate. In a series of posts on X, Wallnau claimed that the vice president used supernatural manipulation to gain the upper hand in a combative showdown with the former president. When I say witchcraft, I'm talking about what happened tonight. Occult-empowered deception, manipulation, and domination, Wallnau wrote early Wednesday morning following the debate. Wallnau, a prominent figure in the pro-Trump evangelical movement, has long portrayed the former president as a divinely chosen leader tasked with saving America from what he describes as a spiritual and political decline. So, witchcraft employed. Then, I was like, look, we all remember WikiLeaks, right? You all remember WikiLeaks, don't you? You remember WikiLeaks? Remember how they fucking brutalized Julian Assange for the simple act of journalism because they felt he wasn't showing enough fealty to Democrats. They felt that it hurt Hillary Clinton's chances of, you know, being elected. So Julian Assange had to suffer an indignity. And by the way, Donald Trump didn't help me either. So it's a stain on America, what happened to Julian Assange. It's a stain, you know, that more people didn't come out and support him, that he had to go insane, smearing shit on the walls, living in a fucking embassy, only to get got anyway, only to be stuck in a solitary confinement in a prison. You know, that man's life got ruined. All he did was leak documents that proved what the American government was doing. Anyway, won't get into that too much, but you remember WikiLeaks, right? Well, what did WikiLeaks show us? WikiLeaks did show us that they Donna Brazile, they leaked the questions to Hillary Clinton, the debate questions, ahead of time, and asked her these questions okay. That they were basically in for Clinton. And look, we all know that, right? Like, we know that goes on. It wouldn't be a crazy story that Kamala Harris knew the questions in advance. They support the Democrats. That have you been watching for the last 20 years? This is how it works. If Republicans engage with those media platforms, that's how they'll be treated. They have their own media platforms. Bring Democrats to them and treat them the same. Anyway, I saw this come across my timeline, and I thought this could be real. This is fun. ABC whistleblower allegedly will release an affidavit. This is on Leading Report. They're right-leaning. ABC whistleblower allegedly will release an affidavit claiming the Harris campaign was given sample questions that were essentially the same question that were given during the debate, as well as assurances that Trump would be fact-checked and she would be not. And I saw that and I went, okay, that's probably just true. That's probably just something that's going to come out because the media's a mess. ABC's in for the DNC. We all know this. So yeah, okay, fine. Let's sit back and watch it. Watch it unfold. Here's the problem. Let me show you the account making the claim, where the story came from, which to me is kind of important. It is by an account called Black Insurrectionist. I follow back true patriots in all caps. You look at their bio. I am MAGA. Please don't tell me I ain't black. And they proudly say I'm followed by Roger Stone and Laura Loomer. Oh, well, that's that then. This guy's credible. And you know, he only follows back true patriots. Anyway, I will be releasing an affidavit from ABC whistleblower regarding the debate. I've just signed a non-disclosure agreement with the attorney of the whistleblower. The affidavit states how the Harris campaign was given sample questions, which were essentially the same questions that were given during the debate, and separate assurances of fact-checking Donald Trump, and that she would not be fact-checked. Accordingly, the affidavit states several other factors that were built into the debate to give Kamala a significant advantage. I have seen and read the affidavit, and after the attorney blacks out the name of the whistleblower and other information that could dox the whistleblower, I will release the full affidavit. I will be releasing the affidavit, fucking hell, he said that word a lot, before the weekend is out. Now, look, this ain't real. Who believes this? For a second, but it did get reported in the news. In fact, hang on, Benny Johnson took time out from posting Russian stuff allegedly in a video game to post the affidavit. So, and guys, let me show you. It just looks like a Word document. I redacted, being duly sworn. By who? Do hereby make the following statement under penalty of perjury. My name is. I reside in Manhattan, New York. I have worked for ABC News for over 10 years in various technical and administrative positions. Since the acquisition of ABC News in 1986, I have observed significant transformations in the nature of news reporting at the organization. These changes suggested a shift from unbiased reporting to a model influenced by external factors. Yeah, you and everyone else in the American media. For the record, I do not endorse Donald Trump. Why would you say any of this shit? Furthermore, the Harris campaign imposed restrictions on the scope of questioning. No questions regarding the perceived health of President Joe Biden. No inquiries related to her tenure as Attorney General in San Francisco. No questions concerning her brother-in-law, Tony West, who faces allegations of embezzling billions of dollars in taxpayer funds and who may be involved in their administration if elected. I mean, he's not going to be involved in the administration. That hasn't even been floated. And then this is it. Verification of the affidavit. And there it is. So how true MAGA black insurrectionist got a hold of it, I don't know. That is kind of out there. You can read it if you want. Looks like absolute bunkum to me. Nothing's come of it. And of course, even though the rumors were circulating around, ABC said, yeah, she didn't receive the debate questions. Absolutely not. We give a strict denial on that front. There was something, I think it was Howard Kurtz. No, it was Mike Penn. That was it. Mike Penn, who's an ex-Clinton advisor, he called for an investigation. That went out there publicly saying the debate was biased and they should look at their editorial standards. That's about as close as what we've got. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she waded in, as she often does, and it turned out, here it is, the ABC whistleblower who claimed Kamala Harris was given debate questions has died in a car crash, according to news reports. And then immediately, this story appears to be false. I want you to look at the difference, by the way. 8.6, that's 8,600, you know, like 8.6K fucking retweets, reposts, retweets, whatever they're called, 23,500 likes, and then 89 on the correction. This story appears to be false, and I'm glad to hear it. We need a serious investigation into the whistleblower's report that Kamala Harris was given debate questions ahead of time. This was her source on the car crash. Just some weird, spammy blog thing. You know, the language around this story doesn't hold up. But and again, I've kind of given the game away a little bit on this one by asking Jace to bring it to me. I don't think I saw anything as ridiculous as this claim from Matt Wallace. This is Matt Wallace, 2 million followers, the CEO of Twitter. He said, inside report, ABC allegedly set up distractive lighting aimed at Trump's podium to make him look left to right repeatedly during the debate and artificially increase his heart rate. And this is the video. Now, we just call that blinking where I'm from. But what do I know? I'm not the CEO of Twitter. It just crazy stuff. I've never heard that before as well. Just looking left to right artificially. Raise your heart rate. Who knows? So anyway, this then brings us to the sad part. They're eating the dogs. They are eating the dogs. The worst thing about this is the biggest moment of virality out of the debate was the claim that Haitian migrants, illegal Haitian migrants in Ohio, notably Springfield, are going around eating dogs, eating cats, eating pets, stealing geese from public parks, and eating them. And Donald Trump knows this because the TV told him. And this has sparked off a chain reaction of ridiculousness that, is it rock bottom for American politics? I don't know. As I said, it's not that American politics has ever really been normal, not from a media perspective. I told you about the time that Barack Obama had to come out and deny eating dog in 2012 when Mitt Romney's campaign accused him of doing it while he was backpacking through Indonesia or whatever. But anyway, I'm just going to play this because it's a deleted meme. People started making memes about their eating the dogs and then realized that they didn't want to. So here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to drop this
in Springfield. They're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs. And this is what's happening. Dogs. People on television.
No credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is
the people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
television. But the people on television saying the dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs.
Right, it's quite enough of that. So, people were making memes about it. It went viral. And then people decided that they didn't want it to be viral in a funny way. And so memes like that got deleted off the internet forever because it started a whole fucking TikTok trend. People were dancing, eat the cat, eat the cat. I'll probably play you some of that later and someone in the chat will go, oh, that's really cringe. But I didn't do it. I didn't make these things. I also enjoyed that because that was like the leading political mind on Twitch colliding with the leading political mind of the Republican Party. As the kids say, cinema. Right. Anyway... Let's get to the original clip of they're eating the dogs. What exactly did Trump say?
In Springfield, They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
So, they are eating the pets. They aren't. There's no...
Welcome, one and all, in here.
Oh,
out
God,
there.
not you. There's no evidence of this. It's basically came from another right-leaning misinformation account that took a video from 2021, I think it was, of a seriously mentally ill woman that had killed a cat and bit it and got blood all over her face. That got put out. A far-right account said it was a Haitian migrant doing it in Springfield. Other disinformation accounts followed, and that's what we ended up with. Now, if you thought the cope I'd shown you was bad, let me just show you this next level shit. It's cheating to post Scott Adams, a man who was so brain rotted by MAGA World, he just threw his entire career away. But look, I'm revising my debate scoring. My first impression was a tie, which I called a Harris victory. But the only thing I can recall about the debate today is they're eating the dogs. Visual, scary, viral, memorable, repeatable, and directionally correct in terms of unchecked immigration risk. It's the strongest play of the election. Trump won the debate. I have got to stop underestimating his game. Trump had no base hits in the debate, but his long ball is still rising. Incredible. And he's serious. He's dead serious. He means this. I think he's referred to Trump as a wizard in the past, I think it was. Anyway, he believes Trump is operating on a super high intellectual level, and everything he says is 100% calculated. Everything he says is 100% thought out, and he has a mastery of language that no other politician has had in his lifetime. So I don't know about that one. But whatever. Anyway, what else happened in the aftermath of the dogs? They're eating the dogs. For some reason, the German Foreign Office responded with this in response to his comments on renewable energy. Like it or not, Germany's energy system is fully operational with more than 50% renewables, and we are shutting down, not building coal and nuclear plants. Coal will be off the grid by 2038 at the latest. P.S. We also don't eat cats and dogs. Which that kind of makes it sound like they think the Haitian migrants do. So they've kind of fucked that up. But remember, Germany is piped up quite a little bit every now and then with the whole Trump thing. But this is their official Foreign Office account. Pretty cringe, all things said. That famous German sense of humor coming out. But maybe not as cringe as Marianne Williamson. Now you know Marianne Williamson. You remember her from the primaries. Remember her? Remember the mad crystal lady? Right? We all liked her, didn't we? Right? We liked her. Well, she said this. Continuing to dump on Trump because of the eating cats issue will create blowback on November 5th. Haitian voodoo is in fact real, and to dismiss the story out of hand rather than listen to the citizens of Springfield, Ohio, confirms in the minds of many voters the stereotype of Democrats as smug elite jerks who think they're too smart to listen to anyone outside their own silo. And she got lit up because she's a Democrat, remember. She certainly shouldn't be saying these things. Now, just as an interesting fact, when tallied, apparently the number of Haitians that practice voodoo is 3%. It's still a very fringe religion, although some people suggest it's more because, they might practice a bit of voodoo on the side, even though they're ostensibly Christian, but when times are hard, let's get the juju bag out and do a voodoo ritual or whatever. But it's super fringe. They're hexing the dogs. That's good. That's good, Swemini. Good shout. But look, the question is voodoo happening en masse in Springfield to the degree that cats and dogs are disappearing in droves? That's the question. And the answer is no. The answer is no. Do I believe it's entirely possible a Haitian migrant somewhere in America has killed a cat to do a voodoo ritual? Yeah, might happen. This is so fringe, it is ludicrous to even talk about this as being a mainstream talking point in an election. It's just, it just doesn't happen. But Marianne Williamson went in and wanted to try and show, like, oh, no, we should be. Voodoo's bad. And I don't know, maybe she was going for like an animal rights angle or whatever. But anyway, no one is eating the dogs. No one is eating the cats. No one is stealing the geese. We're going to get to that in a moment. All the facts point to it being just not an issue. In fact, here we have someone saying as much. And absolutely spot on. Eric Erickson, you stupid motherfuckers just got Trump to repeat your lie about the pets. Congrats on setting the news stories tomorrow by lying, so Trump picks it up and says stupid shit. And this is literally what has been happening all for Trump this campaign. What he does is he sits there doom scrolling like the rest of us, but he's 78 and his brain's gone, his box is gone, if he ever had a box to begin with. And all these right-wing grifters just pump out shit. There's left-wing grifters too. We're only talking about the right-wing grifters. I'm not picking a side. But, I'm picking a side of non-stupidity. And there's lots of it on both. But today, rightoids. He sees this grifter shit, anti-migrant, far-right lies, bullshit, videos taken out of context, and he just repeats it uncritically. And then what happens is, all of the grifters that are in MAGA world that support Trump, what they then do is, they go, no, the media are lying to you. They are eating the dogs. They are eating the cats. It's a media cover-up. And so then the people that use those fake videos, they get additional credibility. Potential Republican voters flock to them going, wow, you're a brave truth teller. You were the first with that very real story. And so they get a bigger following. And so they continue the grift. And then Trump sees it. And Trump repeats it. And round and round and round it goes. And this is why, if Trump ever had a point in 2015, 2016, I'll let you decide that. I think the hysteria around Trump is exactly that, hysteria. But if you ever think Trump had a point, if you truly believe he was an anti-establishment candidate that was going to throw a wrench into permanent Washington, by the way, I'll put my cards on the table. If I was an American, if I was capable of voting and I was given a choice between Hillary Clinton in 2016, Clinton or Trump, I would have voted Trump. There you go. I said it. Even knowing everything I know now. Yep. Fuck Hillary Clinton. Fuck the Clintons. At least Trump was an unknown quantity. But now, if Kamala and Trump, it really isn't a choice, guys. Like, at all. Like, it's embarrassing what the Trump campaign has devolved into. You could say I'm coconut pilled to the gills because it's just absurd, the shit he's saying. And he's being fed his lines by these idiots in his orbit. The best thing about the end of Trumpian politics is these losers like Cat Turd and Ian Miles Chong and people like this, that they can't be famous and credible in a post-Trump landscape because they can't hang with real substantive politics. They don't know about that world. So I'm just saying, take it from me. But anyway, let's go into some of the accounts that, obviously, it's all the usual suspects, guys. If it wasn't for X, you would have no idea that Haitians were eating cats in Springfield. That's end wokeness there. Of course, they're not. That isn't happening. Ian Miles Chong, again, I know this is like shooting fish in a barrel. This is ridiculous, what he posted. Springfield has one hope. It's an AI image of two black men chasing Donald Trump running away with cats. This is the level of political discourse coming out from these fucking idiots. Hilariously, Cat Turd, himself a cat, got wrecked. He said, hide your pets from Kamala. By the way, what's she got to do with it? Is he well, I know what he's implying. You know what he's implying, right? Hide your pets from Kamala. But of course, quite famously, Cat Turd ran over his dog, his own dog. So maybe hide your pets from you. There was Sargon of Akkad. Remember the genius who said, now there has never been a better time to join UKIP? The party that no longer exists. Remember that? Remember when he gave that strange Bond villain speech from his back garden or whatever in the dark, saying that it had all come to plan? The video's still up on YouTube. It got my channel struck. Salty Sargon fans came to get me. Well, He did this. He dropped a they not like us. They aren't like us, and you don't understand them. I mean this in a full spectrum way. Oh, sure. Their history is different. Their culture is different. Their habits and morality is different, etc., etc. You do not think like they do. And he posted a video here of somebody barbecuing, and the caption says, "It's a dog." But the thing is, that isn't a dog. It doesn't look like a dog, because it isn't a dog. The fact that fact checkers have to dedicate time to this is ridiculous. That was just people cooking a large suckling pig in Ireland, and certainly not in Springfield. So maybe the Irish ain't like us, Sargon? Weird. You would never say that, of course, for reasons. Also, Chris Rufo found a video, and it was similar. It was people barbecuing like a goat or something, and he was like, "Look, they're doing it! They're eating the dogs! They're eating the dogs!" And so this great summary from Swan Marcus. Congratulations to Christopher Rufo, because I can't show you that one. It's a bit more graphic, a bit bloody, so I don't know if Twitch will get me. Who, while trying to find evidence of Haitians eating cats in Springfield, managed, through the tireless journalistic efforts of his team, to uncover the shocking story of someone grilling chicken in a different city more than a year ago. Laura Loomer had to knock it up a notch. Bam! The Spice Weasel was out. Here comes Laura Loomer. Trump didn't say this on the debate stage, incredibly, because they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. What else are they eating, Laura? They eat humans. They eat humans. Haitian immigrants aren't just eating cats and dogs. They eat humans. Remember their leader, known as Barbecue? Only Hannibal Lecter himself. You see, now you know where Trump's getting it from with the Hannibal Lecter. Only Hannibal Lecter himself would want to bring more of them to the United States. Don't let the media say that concerns about illegal immigration are conspiracy theories. These aren't rumors. It's a fact. You import the third world, you become the third world, and we won't allow it here in America. Donald Trump will stop our country from further becoming a third world nation. The media is obsessing over the Haitian migrants because even the most liberal voters are horrified over the animal abuse committed by so many of Kamala's invaders. Now, I want you to remember, through all of this, the Haitian migrants in Ohio that they're talking about, there's probably a sensible debate, and I'm going to actually disprove that debate ahead of time in a moment. There's probably a sensible debate to say, look, can local communities, can they have large influx of people when they're already under-resourced, underprivileged, and survive, thrive, rebuild during economic hardships? There might be a sensible conversation to have about that, right? I thought it was brilliant when they sent immigrants to Martha's Vineyard and they moved them on within 2 days after giving them some cereal. I get it. Like, the average Democrat voter believes it's okay if it's happening in what they consider a dumb hick town, red state, Rust Belt. It's okay there. It's not, not in my backyard. Right, that's what the Democrats believe. But I'll also just add, we are talking about legal migrants. These are not illegals. They're talking about deporting them. They were given a legal standing to be in these communities recognized by the government. So these are not illegal immigrants. These are community members. So remember that through all of this. And of course, we had this as well. Again, more right-wing cope. After hearing Trump's claims about the geese, I decided to look into it. This is Present Witness with 20,000 followers on X. Turns out there was at least one call to the police reporting Haitian immigrants carrying 4 geese away with them. I'll tell you an anecdote that relates to my own story, by the way. As you know, I grew up in a poor neighborhood, and we had an itinerant site round the corner from where I lived, and these people were poor. They were travelers. And listen, I don't know if you know about the plot of the lot of travelers in Britain, but for instance, they were on a site they built. This is true. Round the site, they piled garbage and dirt to create an artificial wall so you couldn't see the site from the road. That was what the government did. Then, when you were on the site, even though they were putting down caravans or what have you, They asked, like, since this is a site that is going to be used by multiple travellers, generations of travellers, could we get planning permission to build a small park for the children, our children, who would be here? And the government said, no, you're absolutely not. You're not building anything. You're not putting down any roots. If we could, we would absolutely get rid of you. And so this is the kind of stigma, they were living with. Now, there was a big brouhaha where I lived because one of their families, during Christmas, they went down to a lake and they killed some geese for their Christmas pot. And it was all a big brouhaha. Now, I'm not saying these things don't happen, but once in 40 years of life, that's not a lot. That's not a lot at all. And the hysteria around this is ridiculous. So even if this guy's telling the truth, how does this square with they are eating the dogs, they are eating the pets, they are eating the geese, they're doing it all en masse? They're not. At least one, by the way, is the weakest way to inflate numbers. It goes on. A woman found a decapitated pig head, likely part of a voodoo ritual. Why? Why? People do buy pigs' heads from, like, butchers all the time for, like, pranks and crazy shit. I would say that's more likely than a voodoo ritual, but whatever. There is a 30-minute video compilation, I have it, of local residents saying that their pets have been disappearing since the illegal immigrants started arriving. The police lied, ABC lied, Reuters lied, Trump told the truth. None of that is true. Then, the editorial standards at the New York Post have maybe never been the most robust, but this is fucking pathetic. In a bid to show fealty and try and get Trump out of the hole, they reported a fender bender. And look, Haitian motorist making a legal turn in Springfield, Ohio, smashes into mom driving with autistic daughter. Why is that news? That's a fucking joke. That's a joke of a news story. Listen, they might not be eating pets, but one of them crashed a car and the girl was autistic. Like, this is embarrassing for any publication to run that story. They're crashing the cars, but that's what they were doing. Anyway, as you would imagine, Trump absolutely decided to double down on the claim. Here it is. Let's pump this up. Pump up the volume.
Of 911 calls even show residents are reporting that the migrants are walking off with the town's geese. They take in the geese. Where the geese are in the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets. My dog's been taken. My dog's been stolen. This can only happen. These people are the worst.
So, what I liked about this tweet, the reason I've included it and not just got the call to activism, which is an anti-Donald Trump kind of Twitter account, is this. Where it said, there's a greater possibility he's just racist as hell, but there's a funnier possibility that this guy heard something about geese disappearing because of migration and didn't realize he meant the birds were traveling. I like to believe that. That is one of the best tweets I've seen about Trump's mental state. That, yeah, somebody probably said in passing, there's no geese at the moment because they've migrated. And he heard, oh yeah, the migrants have took the geese. I'm on it. The fucked up thing is, it's actually possible. It's plausible. It really is. Yeah, I've seen the same thing claimed as head mod and lead coder for Richard Lewis Enterprises. Jace just said in the chat, a lot of people have said that maybe his use of the word asylum, he doesn't understand asylum seeking and mental asylums and being granted asylum. He thinks he's conflated all of these terms. Again, it's possible. That's the depressing reality. Next, Trump Jr. went with a nasty one. Not beating any allegations with this clip.
They have to share it. They have to get these messages out there. If you see it, report it. Because no one else is going to do that if we don't do it ourselves, Charlie. It's disgusting, and it should not be happening in America. It shouldn't be happening anywhere else in the civilized world, but that's the reality. Okay? You look at Haiti, you look at the demographic makeup, you look at the average IQ. If you import the third world into your country, you are going to become the third world. That's just basic. Like, it's not racist. That's just fact. You see that happening in these places.
Yeah, always gets kind of if you're going to bring IQ to the table. And certainly, if it isn't racist, it's on the borderline, isn't it? I never felt easy with it. I've talked a lot about how one of the go-to one of the things a lot of actual real white supremacists will do is they use outdated kind of IQ science to sound credible, and they go, oh, look at the IQ levels in these countries, therefore anyone that comes from these countries must have these IQs. And obviously, like, IQ itself is problematic. There's a ton of stuff with it. What does it really mean? I would say I'm not one of those people who deny that it has some like value in measuring it, but what they essentially do is they use that as a valid science, and then they surround it with pseudoscience, and they use it to tar everyone with the same brush. And that's like a very common white supremacist tactic that you will see them do. Ultimately, it echoes like phrenology, skull measuring, these kind of ridiculous ancient practices. So yeah, that was like, ugh, just ick. Vance, after initially repeating that there was some truth to it because he put out another false video that wasn't from Ohio, he did seem to distance himself from the comments by the time he appeared on CNN. And one thing I will say about Vance is I was very reticent. He's still a terrible choice for VP, one of the worst choices I've seen in my lifetime, up there with Palin. I think he's handled the media well because he's younger and he's a bit more savvy, and he does traffic in digital circles, and he's done a lot of interviews, and the interviews have been pretty good. He's been pretty moderate in what he says. Whether you believe him or not is another thing. Compared to Trump, he's been a breath of fresh air, actually. But it's not gonna save them. Like, also radically different on TV than he is on Twitter. But this is what he said about the comments about eating the dogs.
I would say is he brought up this misleading false claim that you yourself have talked about in recent days about Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, abducting people's pets and eating them, which officials there have said is not true. You yourself acknowledged it may be false on Twitter. You still told people to keep spreading it. But Trump just amplified it to tens of millions of people who were watching. Why push something that's not true?
Well, first of all, city officials have not said it's not true. They've said they don't have all the evidence.
They said they have no evidence.
We've heard from a number of...
Which, you gotta love that one. They're not saying it's not true. They said there's no evidence. I love that little semantic game.
Constituents on the ground, Caitlin, who both firsthand and secondhand reports saying this stuff is happening. So they very clearly, meaning the people on the ground dealing with this, think that it is happening. And I think that it's important for journalists to actually get on the ground and uncover this stuff for themselves when you have a lot of people saying, my pets are being abducted, or geese at the city pond are being abducted and slaughtered right in front of us. This is crazy stuff. And again, whether those exact rumors turn out to be mostly true, somewhat true, whatever the case may be, Caitlin,
false.
This town has been ravaged by 20,000 migrants coming in. Healthcare costs are up. Housing costs are up. Communicable diseases like HIV and TB have skyrocketed in this small Ohio town. This is what Kamala Harris's border policies have done. And I think it's interesting, Caitlin, that the media didn't care about the carnage wrought by these policies until we turned it into a meme about cats. And that speaks to the media's failure to care about what's going on in these communities. If we have to meme about it to get the media to care, we're going to keep on doing it because the media should care about what's going on.
Now, I have seen some of you in the chat talking about this and going, well, didn't J.D. Vance say that we're going to keep making up stories and fabricating stories like this to get media attention? No, that isn't what he said. He said they would keep creating stories, and the media turned around and went, see, they're admitting that they're lying. I mean, clearly he means it's pretty much just a reiteration of what he said here, which is if we have to make memes to get your attention, to get you to talk about the substantial issues we want to, i.e. what immigration is doing to America in poor neighborhoods, then that's what we're going to do. So no, don't get took in by that. You're smarter than that if you're listening to me. I'd like to think so anyway. The thing that he said there as well is you can either argue it's clever media judo because he said we had to make a meme to get you to care about it. Nobody cared who I was till I said they were eating the cats. But it wasn't media spin. You have to remember the way that it came about. And the way that it came about was Trump just saw it on social media and then just blithely repeated it in a fucking debate in front of tens of millions of Americans. It wasn't a carefully planned, we got you now. No, Trump just said a provably false thing on the debate stage, and a thing that has been memed into oblivion. His supporters don't care. People who like chaos and embrace chaos don't care. Independent voters who think about these things, it will absolutely have turned them off because, I don't want to necessarily get into, is it about racial coding and racial imprinting that we're saying Haitian migrants eat the dogs and other types of migrants don't, but it's not happening. And to try and claim it was like a clever media work is ridiculous. That's not what happened at all. TMZ as well, who making up for their announcement that Beyonce was going to be at the DNC, which all the mainstream media bought into and uncritically reported. They did some journalism. Good on them. Here it is. TMZ went and asked the Ohio Division of Wildlife about this picture. And this was another picture that was circulated on far-right accounts on X.com, where it was a guy walking with a goose or other type of waterfowl in his hand, and the far-right account said, "Oh, look, they're eating geese in this neighborhood." Anyway, TMZ went to the Ohio Division of Wildlife, and guess what? That photo of the black man holding geese was him actually picking up the geese after it had been hit by a vehicle, not his vehicle. He was actually trying to help. I assume at this point it was dead, but he was actually picking up a dead animal from the side of the road, so doing a good thing. As previously reported, the incident didn't even occur in Springfield. It took place in Columbus, and there's no evidence that the man is Haitian or an immigrant. So yes, a far-right account took a photograph of a black person, said they were Haitian, said they were eating roadkill, or rather just an animal, and it got circulated and everybody believed it. Just ridiculous. I will say, it was pretty embarrassing of USA Today to do this. I don't think this was necessary, guys. USA Today, don't listen to Trump's lies. A Haitian chef explains the country's rich culinary tradition. That's right. USA Today brought out a Haitian chef to explain, no, we don't eat cats, we don't eat dogs. I don't think that was necessary, USA Today. I think most people get it. So yeah, that was a bit of a swing and a miss. Let's have a look at the polling. Do Americans believe they're eating the dogs? Do they believe it? Well, this is Polling USA. Do you believe it is true or false that Haitian immigrants are abducting and eating cats and dogs? 54% false, 26% true, the rest uncertain. Bit of a yikes. Also, as well, one of the Facebook posts that was circulated, it was someone complaining that, the Haitian migrants are eating, the animals are going missing, all of that type of stuff. That got disavowed. So she disavowed her own post. She recanted it. This is it. The woman behind this is on NBC. The woman behind an early Facebook post that helped spark baseless rumors about Haitian eating pets told NBC News she feels for the immigrant community. The woman behind an early Facebook post spreading a harmful and baseless claim about Haitian immigrants eating local pets that helped thrust the small Ohio city into the national spotlight said she had no first-hand knowledge of any such incident and is now filled with regret and fear as a result of the ensuing fallout. It just exploded into something I didn't mean to happen, Erica Lee, a Springfield resident, told NBC News on Friday. The boomers and Facebook will be the end of us all. By the way, I'll say this as well, it's got nothing to do with the episode, but the boomers aren't ready for AI. The boomers on Facebook aren't ready for AI. You are going to see some ridiculous hoaxes in the next 2 to 3 years. Brains are going to be broke in ways you cannot believe. AI is getting more and more sophisticated with every passing day, and boomers are getting less and less sophisticated with every passing minute. It is a very bad fucking combination. Grandma is going to be posting some crazy shit. It looks like Elon Musk is married Taylor Swift. Look, they're together in a picture. Oh, God. Nightmare fuel. But this is why the boomers shouldn't fuck around with Facebook posting fake shit for engagement and likes. That's right, they're just as susceptible as the Zoomers because social media is addictive, it breaks your brain, it's one of the worst advancements in modern human history. So, we're going to get to some serious points in a moment, but how about we enjoy some of the memes. Let's just have a little palate cleanser. Let's enjoy some of the memes, because there were many memes. As I played you at the start, there was a cringeworthy song with Hassan. By the way, I actually never thought I would say this. I thought Hassan was pretty fair with his debate coverage, actually. Maybe he's just given up on the grift. Who knows? It gets hard. But we're going to get to some serious stuff in a moment. But let's just go through the memes, because this was so memeable. People were making songs. People were doing TikTok dances. It was fucking ridiculous. And I picked out some of my favorites for you today. Some are inappropriate, but we're going to ride the Twitch line today. I think it's necessary. This was just fucking genius.
Sauce on your steak with the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets in Springfield.
We're the sauce on your...
That is so fucking good. It's unbelievable, bro. Like, it is actually fucking unbelievable. Like, they've got him to do. I'm playing that again. I don't give a fuck.
With the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets in Springfield.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Just too good. That is a keeper. That is one for the ages. To even remember the fucking Bordello episode of The Simpsons, remember that particular song, and then to realize that what Trump said fits into it lyrically, excellent. And the fact that it is Springfield anyway. I'm amazed there weren't more Simpsons memes. But that one, absolute S tier, worthy of El Gapo himself. Then we had, God, let me get this one. This is so stupid. This one, it's a downgrade, but it's still funny. This is the "What are you?" A Haitian sandwich. This is obviously the famous Gordon Ramsay meme. So, because they're eating the cats. Personal favorite here, the Anthony Bourdain one that was doing the rounds. It's sad he gone too soon. Where it's in the style of his, parts unknown. Go to Springfield, order the cat, the whole thing, medium rare. Grab a beer or two, make it 3. Curly fries and coleslaw. Grab a chair out back. Ask for the barbecue sauce. Tell them you know barbecue. Brilliant. That was a good one. There was another Simpsons one as well. The voice of Chief Wiggum just rocked up to do this.
Springfield Police, Chief Clancy Wiggum speaking. How can I help you? People are eating dogs? What do you mean, like hot dogs? Oh, cats. Mr. Katz is eating hot dogs. Nah. People are eating dogs and cats. People are eating dogs and cats in Springfield. Are they good?
So, non-partisan. We can all enjoy that one. Rightoids thought he was on their side. Leftoids on their side. I see that as a total and complete win. I love alien memes. Fucking do love a good alien meme. This is my Haitian neighbor figuring out that Mittens had 4 lives left, and it is Ripley's nightmare where she believes a chest burster is going to come out of her. That's just a classic. You gotta love that one. Then memes wouldn't be complete without prequel memes, and this is just brilliant. Not just the geeks, but the cats and dogs too. That's obviously, you know the line. You don't need to go over that one. That's brilliant. Somebody created a DoorDash Ohio screenshot, which is a cat in a bag. And while we're talking about cats, what I liked about this was it really showed, we really got to see the difference between the two species of cats and dogs. Both were affected. This was a typical cat reaction to Trump here.
Don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. People that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people.
Now, that cat was taking no shit. Good luck eating that one. But what I loved about it was the difference between the cat reaction and the dog reaction to the same bit.
Used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying
manager.
their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
My dog.
Now, I believe the original is it's like Emperor Palpatine on the channel as well, but is there really any difference between that and Trump? Who knows? Anyway, cats alpha, dogs pussies, apparently. What else? Yeah, we had, what's this? Oh, yeah, just a sign at a sports game. They are eating the cats in Colombia. There we are. Just imagine carrying that out of the house. That's just ridiculous. I will also say as well, apparently some people did believe the reports, and it led to tragic scenes. Some leftists did try to show solidarity with Haitians by eating cats of their own. That didn't happen. That was satire. Anyway, we have to now verge back to the serious. You'll have heard that there was 30 minutes of clips of interviews on the streets from people who were essentially repeating rumors and secondhand information. This is the video in question. Again, I will just pop me off so you can see the full title. It's by Tyler Oliveira. Inside the Ohio town invaded by cat eating Haitians. Now, I'm not going to play you this video, but you'll get an idea of the type of content. It's this.
They do their little thing. That's it, you know.
Mike, how long you lived out here in Springfield?
Oh, I've lived in Springfield all my life. I'll be 60 in 2 weeks.
When did all the Haitians come in?
About 5 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
And when they packed, they hit this neighborhood hard.
Why?
Outrageous rent. They went through, they painted them, cleaned them up a little bit, rent them to them, and they pay the rent.
I heard on Twitter.
Now, I wish he'd just finished writing Winter Winter. But anyway, it's clips like this. It's man on the street, Vox Pops interviews, and they're all talking in kind of like, you know, look, our community was deprived. It clearly is. It's a poor neighborhood. And they say that the strain that was put on their economics as a result of the Haitian immigrants was too much for them to bear. And in there, they say, and their animals have gone missing, and they must be the Haitians. There's nothing substantive that proves it, but credit to this person. Whether or not you think this is agitation or journalism is up to you. You are an informed person. You decide. You can go and watch the video. You know where to find it and make up your own mind. There's certainly nothing in this other than a couple of anecdotes from people who certainly have an axe to grind about it. There's no evidence of any of it. Anyway, there was also more of this. This is another example. This interview here, again, it's 5 minutes long. I won't play it for you. I'll read you the quote. Lifelong resident details how she discovered a decapitated pig head in Snyder Park, where the goose abduction allegations are coming from, and explains how the city is trying to pass it off as cult stuff. Multiple people she knows have experience with Haitian immigrants saying they're going to curse them with voodoo. They're probably just taking the piss, guys. I don't leave my house unless I'm armed and have my pit bull. You might be part of the problem, sir. Haitian adults are attending high schools with underage students. It's all the classic immigrant fear-mongering nonsense predicated on second-hand knowledge. This, of course, circulated, not massively, but 30,000 likes on that one. And I thought the perfect response came from a journalist I do respect and you should all follow. It was Zaid Jelani. He just said, is this a new form of citizen journalism where when the guy tells you he saw Bigfoot, you're like, okay, you're not joshing with me, right? And he took a clip from that 30-minute, he's replying to Kanakoa the Great, the citizen journalist, and he's replying to a clip of a first-hand account of somebody saying, yeah, they totally ate the cats, man. And it's like, yeah, it is a little bit like Bigfoot. Like, show me a report, show me a police officer saying it, show me, like, what about dog pounds? What about dog pounds? Like, if all the dogs and cats are being eaten, the dog pound's probably had to lay off staff because there's no stray dogs, there's no stray animals to catch, right? Nobody has approached it, sensibly at all. Also, while we're back doing the seriousness, after this got thrown around, there did seem to be a rise of people showing hate, if you want to call it that, towards Haitian migrants. There were some bomb threats and what have you. The first thing I am going to say is I saw this circulating on my timeline. It is supposedly a flyer from the Ku Klux Klan being distributed in Springfield with the Ku Klux Klan symbols. Foreigners and Haitians out. Stop funding, start deporting. It's got the font, that Germanic font that the KKK were particularly fond of back in the day. And this was put out on Twitter. And whenever I see things like this, it's almost always a fake. It's almost always a hoax. I can't imagine that the Kentucky branch of the Klan went down to Springfield to distribute flyers to try and have people join the Klan. This is a crime. So, if you're doing this in broad daylight and you get caught handing out this kind of literature, you are just going to prison. The Ku Klux Klan is largely a boogeyman in modern day America, which isn't to say there aren't racist hate groups. It's just the Klan is like, I don't know, I think last time I did a video talking about it, I think they had something like, it was like less than 1,000 members countrywide. So just putting that out there. But what was serious was this bomb threat that came out. More threats in Springfield, Ohio. The college closes campus as fear grips the community. We need help, not hate, says the Springfield mayor. Now, it's been kind of interesting because I actually had somebody reach out to me and say, I got banned from your chat by a mod because I said the mayor had admitted that they were eating the cats and eating the dogs. And was it just a cook moderator or was it you yourself? And I just instantly blocked them on Twitter because the thing he was linking to had nothing to do with eating cats and dogs. So anyway, yeah, there was a bunch of bomb threats and threats of violence that kind of came in because obviously once it takes on a national complexion, you're going to get people that are going, I mean, there's psychos out there everywhere and racists and lunatics. And of course, when an issue, a non-issue, a completely fake and fabricated issue does enter into the mainstream media via the people who put it there, obviously there's going to be these reactions to it. And so it's not a surprise that this kind of thing happens. It goes both ways. Obviously, lefties believe in stochastic terrorism when Trump's talking, and when we have the baseball shooting, of Scalise, they go, oh, we didn't radicalize that guy. We don't radicalize that guy. We're just telling, it's fine. Trump gets shot. No, it's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine. In fact, it's your fault, actually. It's just ridiculous. But this is obviously, to quote Elon Musk, this is concerning. This is worrying that this completely fake story has led to stuff like this. So there has been, bomb threats. There's been threats. The mayor himself has been getting death threats as well. And it's just without foundation. It's without basis. There's no reason for this. I've said this many times. I'll repeat it here because I think it's relevant and pertinent. Far-right racists are able to do their best work when people are poor, hungry, and afraid. And that definitely applies to the people in Springfield, Ohio. It is a very deprived community where people are suffering not just from that deprivation, but the diseases of despair that come with it. The alcoholism, the drug problems, the fentanyl overdoses. That's happening en masse there because that's what happens. And when far-right people come in and they say it's the migrants, what are to blame, it's a very easy seductive trope. As we'll get to, it turned out that one of the reasons why Springfield was selected to have the migrants come in, and it wasn't in one dollop, it was done over a period of years, is they needed more people coming into the workforce to help kind of lift the community out of the impoverishment that it was in, that it was actually something they did to kind of create growth. Again, say Jelani did a link to a post about this, and his summary is great. You can go read this article. It's over at the Springfield New Sun, and that is that Springfield was dying before it started the campaign in 2014 to attract immigrants. The budget picture now is, for the first time in city history, the assessed tax valuation topped $1 billion for 2023. This is one of the realities about immigration. There are going to be some parts of immigration that are going to tax, not literally, or rather, it's going to put pressure on societal systems, especially if they're already overloaded. That's a reality. These things have to be a series of checks and balances. And I'm not talking about asylum seekers. I'm talking about immigration, just directly. But by the same token, we all know the way that the monetary system and the taxation system and the Social Security or national insurance or whatever it might be, or the national pension, these things are essentially Ponzi schemes that are been at tipping point because the money's not there because governments continually overspend the money. So if you want to be able to claim them things at the end of your life and get back the things you put in, more people have to come and put in. And one of the ways we do this is through immigration. This is how this is the problem that we're in, and it also creates tax relief. Because if people are coming in, there's more tax. We don't have to elevate the taxes for the higher earners. By the way, when higher earners are taxed, they just leave, creating the knock-on effect of the next tier of the higher earners. So it's you who gets fucked. You have to have this balancing act. Now, I'm not saying it can't go overboard. I'm not saying you can't have too much immigration. I've said personally that I think what we're doing in Britain right now, where we're spending something like, and this is a genuine number, it's about £5 million a day on housing immigrants, which is why the Conservative government wanted to create that Rwanda scheme, which was in itself a false economy. That's something that's unsustainable. You need to look at that and assess it. But I'm not saying like no immigration. That would be fucking ridiculous. I'm not saying super low immigration. That would also be ridiculous. There's a balancing act, and I think in Springfield it's been blown out of proportion just how detrimental the Haitian migrants have been. Remember, they are legal, not illegal, and this video I saw, I thought this was absolutely devastating to the narrative that the Haitian migrants were coming in, eating the dogs, disrupting the community. They were getting all the money, getting free rent, getting this, getting that. This is on Ron Filipkowski. This is we're going to watch the full 2-minute thing. I thought this was very eye-opening.
Started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
McGregor acknowledges the sudden arrival of so many new immigrants is a challenge on multiple fronts, but he believes this is partly how the industrial Midwest can regrow.
We want more jobs in our community. And in order to fill those jobs, some jobs need to be people who are not originally from here.
A community of more than 80,000 emptied out to less than 60. That is, until the last few years.
Our churches, we see new people.
In the pews?
Yes, absolutely.
Wes Babian was the pastor at First Baptist Church for almost 20 years.
For years, we've lost people, but you hope somebody else will come and take their place. That hasn't happened here.
Until now.
Because there are folks from Haiti who are coming to church.
Lukens Merzus, who, among his many other jobs, mans the soundboard for Sunday services, is one of those new Haitian members.
Why Springfield?
Of all places. Merzus, with his wife and daughter, were among the first Haitian families to arrive here in 2018.
I got a decent job when I was in Haiti, and then to make a difficult decision to leave, it wasn't easy.
And so there's a full long reporting on PBS. I mean, I've got my issues, as you know, but that is a really solid piece of reporting. I've watched the extended version of that, and ultimately what it shows is that immigration has breathed life into communities that people essentially abandoned and walked away from, and would have fallen into total dilapidation and collapse without an influx of immigrants. And equally, it shows how businesses have been able to expand by having a steady, reliable influx of new workers. And in this case, it happened to be Haitians. One of the things I think I hate so much about the discourse around immigration is that there's a sensible discussion to be had, but on one side it is it should be totally unchecked, totally unfettered, import as many people as we want, as long as it's going to those poor towns, poor cities in parts of the country we, the elite, don't care about. And on the other hand, it's, oh no, all immigration's bad. They not like us. They not like us. Look, they're eating the dogs. And it's like, guys, that's like it's truly despicable to abandon people that have genuine financial concerns, and it's more despicable to imply that people that come from these countries seeking a better life are somehow inherently broken and have negative traits built into them. There's all of these things can be worked around, but I genuinely think there has to be something like too much money, too much attention in the grift, in the lie, and it's sad. Like what this Haitian migrant here, this educated, educated individual who made a difficult choice to leave his dysfunctional home country to come to America for a better life, and came to a small community where he might not even get to utilize the full extent of his education and his skills, but it's safer. So he's made that. That's the reason why he made the choice in the extended interview. That person now is in a Donald Trump landscape, in a Donald Trump world. He's being thrown in and saying, well, we're going to deport you because you should never have been granted the legal right to be here. That's like shocking. That's horrifying. Like, nobody should be for that. Even the most staunch anti-immigration person should be listening to this person and going, well, yeah, obviously you being deported would be heinous. But they're not. There is no rational discourse on this topic. It's why the whole hysteria about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats has been so destructive and so negative. And fortunately, it does come with the price that it's things like this that are ultimately going to cost Trump, because no sensible person at all would buy into this. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. We will make it an episode of just they're eating the dogs. I've scripted out probably enough for another 3 episodes of The Belly of the Beast, because also in that debate was the transgender operations on aliens in prison. We had the whole Abdul debacle where the media pretended not to know what he was talking about. We've got Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris after the debate, and Trump turning around and saying, I hate Taylor Swift, because he doesn't want to win. He doesn't want to win.